You have become a little more aware of what you are doing rather than having done it blindly. Now, what difference would that have made to the good outcome of your day, not having snarled at the sales girl or whatever it is you did? Well, you would have had, 20 minutes less of aggravation. That's
Right.
already a big positive. In a 16-hour day of the time that you're awake, 20 minutes is 20 minutes, and they accumulate. So if you spend 20 minutes being angry at the sales girl, and then you spend 2 hours being upset at work because of something your supervisor is doing, and you spend another few hours being upset because of what you have to do in your home, you're spending a big part of your day being
Exactly.
upset.
Exactly. I think it's interesting when you do start adding that up. I think anybody out there, just take this week and start adding up the amount of time you spend being upset per day, and it's appalling, actually.
Yes. And this is where I'm saying you have a choice. Now, simply by shifting your thoughts about these different things and recognizing that you have this choice, you're going to make your day better. Now, guess what happens when your day gets better? Your whole energy shifts. And because your energy shifts, your thoughts are able to go in other directions. And those other directions are the ones that will begin to also shift your life. It isn't quite that quick and quite that easy, but this is essentially what happens. Let's take the attitude, for example, of a girl that is going to a dance, and she's confident of herself, happy to be going, and convinced that she's going to have a good time. So even if she isn't the prettiest girl there, she'll shine and stand out, and simply because of this inner attitude of hers, right?
Right.
And we've all been in these social situations where we're scratching our heads, mentally asking ourselves, how on earth is it that someone who really doesn't look very special and may not necessarily be wearing the most fashionable clothes or driving the most
The
luxurious
life
car
of the party, though.
is
Yeah.
nevertheless the most popular or
Yeah.
sought out person there. Now, think of the girl who goes to the party thinking her dress or her hair is all wrong and that surely no one will ask her to dance. Guess where she's going to be when that confident girl sails by dance after dance? She'll be holding up the wall.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Yeah.
silly little example, but it is what makes the day.
It's the choice that you make at the very beginning of it all that affects the outcome.
Not at the very beginning, at every step.
At every step. Okay.
At every step, because even this confident girl may go to the party and perhaps someone who's not so nice or someone who's jealous or whatever may make a nasty comment or may look at her or she may trip and spill some juice on her white dress and now have a spot on her lovely dress.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's the inner attitude
The
that
choice
is
that you
going
make.
to, that is, and the choice that she makes that is going to make the rest of that evening okay for her. So going back to a more normal example of a life where you do have all these duties and sort of things you have to do that aren't that much fun and you're not dancing every night.
That's for sure. Many of us are not dancing every night, Gabriella, in case you weren't aware of that.
Well, I can't remember the last time at least
You
not on
neither?
a dance floor.
Okay. Okay.
I've danced in my mind a lot, but
Okay.
not on a dance floor. So you begin to make those little choices day after day in this 3-week thing I was talking about a moment ago. Day 2, you may not only remember the times or recognize the times you forgot in hindsight, but you may actually remember in the moment they're happening 1 or 2. So you're making progress.
Yeah. Okay.
Day 3, maybe you'll remember again a few times, and also in hindsight when you kind of think of your day, oh yeah, I forgot there and I forgot there, but good, at least I'm remembering. And as the days go by progressively, if you have decided or you put up a little post-it note somewhere to remind yourself that this is what you are going to be doing for these 3 weeks in your daily life, you will notice a shift because you will automatically begin to feel better about your life.
Okay.
Now, you're still not necessarily going to be living the life you want to live, but the life you are living
So
is going to be a heck of a lot better
Okay.
than the one you were living.
So it's the first step is making the one you are living better, and then hopefully gearing yourself into. So how are we going to get to that life that we want to be living? I mean, okay, so we're doing better here and this little rock in the pond, but we want to jump to the next one. I mean, how do we do that?
Yeah. So, you know, the attitude we were talking about when I gave the example of the two girls, or say even in job interviews, you know, the attitude you have when you go into a job interview makes a huge difference to the outcome.
Of course.
But attitude also contains within itself a large grain of faith. And this isn't religious faith, but it's kind of like a kissing cousin. It involves a kind of blind belief about yourself. It's faith in yourself, faith in the rightness of what you're doing, faith in the ultimate outcome. And it's often blind faith because whatever it is you want to do and wish to accomplish or try to figure out how to create in your life has not yet actually happened. Now, you've got to obviously, first of all, figure out what you want.
Which is also a big step for many people.
Yes.
Because they haven't ever really thought about what they really want.
Yes. You may have vague answers like, I would like to have, monetary abundance and no more relationship problems or something like that. But you have to be much more clear about these things. So you literally need to begin to sit down and ask yourself some very precise questions. You might start with what you do not want. But once you've picked out what you don't want, throw that paper away, because if you look at what you don't want, you are focusing on what you don't want. You want to focus on what you do want. Okay, so the only reason I'm suggesting make the list of what you don't want is to help you eliminate a number of things. Okay, but once you've done that, throw that away. Make your list of what you actually do want as specifically as you possibly can. This is a very involved topic that there is much good information about all over the place. There are wonderful books if you're interested. There are wonderful websites. There are wonderful teleclasses out there that you can listen to for free. But the specificity of what you want is very important in order for you to get it.
It's like making the blueprints for your house, isn't it? I mean, you don't just go out there and say, I want a house, and I want it to be more or less a big house. But if you're going to build a house, you have to know down to the very last detail what that house is going to look like.
Yes, absolutely. And once you have that blueprint, as you put it so nicely, set out for the kind of thing you want, and I insist, if you're 75, if you're 14 or you're 38, doesn't make any difference. You can look at it from any angle you like, any age you like. Then, of course, there are many things that you can do in order to move the process forward. You may need to get further education. You may need to train for something. You may need to hone your character.
Right.
You might try to meet influential people who can help you move forward. There are a number of things that you can do, and so you're kind of talking now about having an action plan. Now, before you sort of sit back and say, oh my God, this sounds very complicated, and how on earth am I ever going to do any of this? I insist, let's go back and make sure you have that blueprint. What is it that you really want? What's the big picture? What's the smaller picture, and the smaller one and the smaller one? You have to go from the big to the small. First, get that big one out there. I think it's in the movie The Secret. They talk about a vision board. For those of you who have not seen that movie, beg, buy, or steal a copy of it.
It's fantastic.
Yes.
Yes. I can't believe I still am reeling in the aftermath. I've told people they need to get that. I think it might also be known as What the Bleep.
No.
Oh, that's not that one. The Secret.
The Secret is a totally different...
Oh, well, then this one I haven't seen.
Yes, no. The Secret has nothing to do with What the Bleep. It's What the Bleep do we know is more about quantum physics.
Okay.
And The Secret is more about how you can have the life you want.
Oh, how exciting. I can't wait to see it.
Yes. So The Secret is, you just go in the web and type in The Secret and you can figure out where to get it. I don't think they have it in video stores, but it's been around for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And I know there's copies of it floating around down here on the Costa. People are sort of, being quite nice about giving other people their copies. So I know these things shouldn't be done. But anyway,
we don't get into that.
You might find a friend who can let you view their copy.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go.
Now, this inner attitude that you need to have is extremely important. So remember the specificity of your focus, the blueprint that Brenda spoke about. Remember the fact that you have a choice at every point of the way. And remember the fact that one of the things you are always going to be choosing is to live